democracy doing?
In some of his strongest comments yet, President Trump says he's considering his options to serve a third term in office, a breach of the Constitution's two-term limit for presidents.
I'm sorry, considering the option? What, are you trying to order off menu from?
This wasn't your average roast. It was a full-blown comedic takedown that left Trump exposed in ways you won't believe. From calling out the fake tan to dragging the shady business deals, Stewart held nothing back. But what exactly did he reveal, and why is Trump reportedly furious? Trust me, you've never seen Jon go this hard before. Stick around because it gets crazier by the second. And just when you thought Jon Stewart had ridden off into the sunset, growing out his beard,
Lining our beautiful democracy continues apace. And a couple of months into Trump's second of his, let's say, 4 to 7 terms, he continues to live up to his vaunted apprentice catchphrase, "You're fired."
More than 1,300 workers now fired at the Department of Education.
The IRS beginning to lay off more than 6,000 employees.
The Social Security Administration will cut 7,000 jobs.
The U.S. Postal Service will trim its workforce by 10,000.
HHS will be dropping around 20,000 workers.
The Department of Veterans Affairs looking to cut 80,000.
yelling at squirrels and living a quiet, post-Daily Show life. Boom. He reemerges like a political Batman. But this time, he's armed with a sharper tongue, a heavier dose of cynicism, and absolutely zero patience for the absurd. This isn't the wide-eyed, mischievous host who once playfully jabbed at the day's nonsense with a sly grin and a wink. No, this is a man who's seen things. The kind of things that keep you up at night, the kind of things that age you 10 years in one news cycle, the kind of things that make you abandon the last
Option? What, are you trying to order off menu from the Constitution? Oh yeah, I see you got, what do you got, 2 terms here. But can I get it animal style? What are you gonna do, a third term? How does that work exactly?
In a phone call with NBC, Trump saying, quote, "There are methods which you could do it, including possibly
shreds of polite restraint and go full truth teller mode, no matter the consequences." Now, Stewart isn't just back, he's unleashed. Whether it's on national television, podcasts, interviews, or any place with a functioning microphone, he's calling it exactly as he sees it. Raw, unfiltered, and sharper than ever. Armed with the problem with Jon Stewart, he's not just poking fun anymore. He's flipping the entire table over. Gone are the days of gentle satire and sly grins. Now, he's the guy at Thanksgiving dinner who slams his fork down mid-bite and says what everyone else is thinking, the uncomfortable truth no one dares to voice because, well, Grandma still votes red. But Stewart? He doesn't care anymore. And that's exactly what makes him more dangerous than ever. He's evolved. No longer just a comedian, but a truth-swinging wrecking ball with a mic. He's like a political monk who's completed his training in exile and returned to the village, not to bring peace, but to roast the village idiot wearing a red tie and a golf visor. With surgical precision, Stewart cuts through the noise, the spin, and the shameless hypocrisy. He's not here to entertain the powerful. He's here to expose them. And he's doing it with the kind of clarity and conviction that only comes when you've seen too much, stayed quiet too long, and finally said, enough. You can feel it, not just hear it, in the way Jon Stewart speaks now. The old smug smirk.
Me into the Wayback Machine to 2018. I give you the culprit of the terrible deal with Canada.
This morning, President Trump signed a new trade deal to replace NAFTA with the leaders of Mexico and Canada.
The best trade deal they say ever made.
No! A deal done by Trump's greatest nemesis, Trump.
Has faded into something sharper, more worn in. It's not playful anymore. It's fed up. It's the tone of a man who's seen the nonsense pile sky high and finally decided to bring the receipts, drop them on the table, and set the whole stack on fire. His comedic timing? Still razor sharp, but now it's dipped in acid, blistering, biting, and aimed squarely at the thick orange-tinted hide of Donald J. Trump. And when Stewart goes in, oh, he goes in.
Here Donald Trump is in. Let's look at an actual fraud we know he was guilty of. He used his own charitable foundation like a piggy bank, or as it's sometimes known, embezzlement.
shocking pattern of illegality, including unlawful coordination with the Trump presidential campaign, repeated and willful self-dealing, and much more.
He stole from his own charitable foundation. How much more what did he also know?
There's no polite sidestepping, no sugar-coated jabs. He doesn't tiptoe around Trump's ego, his chaos, or his uncanny ability to spew word salad so baffling it makes even autocorrect throw its hands up in surrender. Stewart just hits the gas, no brakes, and barrels straight through the circus tent, past the elephants, through the smoke, and right into the center ring. There, like some kind of deranged clown whisperer, he juggles the absurdities of Trump's greatest hits, the lies, the lawsuits, the tantrums, the typos, and he does it with a precision that slices through the noise and exposes the carnival for what it really is, a sideshow of power, denial, and delusion. It's not just that Jon Stewart is back, it's that he's back with a vengeance. Picture this. Gandalf returns, not draped in glowing white robes, but wearing street clothes, wielding a megaphone, and carrying a thick stack of indictments under one arm and a no-nonsense attitude under the other. He's not here to whisper wisdom from a mountaintop. He's here to raise hell at the town hall meeting, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. Stewart's credibility? Still unmatched. He's that rare voice who cuts across generations like a hot knife through political BS. Boomers love him because he makes sense. He calls out the madness without getting lost in the memes. Millennials adore him because he raised them on snark and satire, spoon-fed with segments from The Daily Show that turn news into a wake-up call. And Gen Z? They're obsessed. To them, he's basically what would happen if your sarcastic, conspiracy-scorching uncle landed a Netflix deal and decided to use it to wage war against fascism, armed with receipts, rage, and perfectly timed punchlines. But Stewart isn't just commenting anymore, he's confronting. And when he speaks now, it's not to entertain. It's to warn, to dismantle, and to drag the national conversation kicking and screaming back to reality. And let's be clear, the cultural weight Jon Stewart carries, it's real. When he speaks, the internet doesn't just listen. It erupts, debates, think pieces, duets on TikTok, all buzzing for days. And yet, beneath the noise, most people are secretly nodding along, because when Stewart calls out hypocrisy, especially the Trump-flavored variety, he doesn't just throw shade, he launches a solar eclipse. He doesn't pull punches. Why would he? We're talking about a man whose entire public persona seems stitched together with duct tape, denial, and the collective trauma of Twitter. And Stewart? He tears through that flimsy facade like a sugar-hyped kid unwrapping Christmas presents, relentless, gleeful, and holding nothing back. This isn't commentary anymore. This is the political version of a WWE comeback. Except instead of folding chairs, Stewart's throwing cold, hard facts and perfectly timed sarcasm. He doesn't scream, he slices. And Trump? Let's just say he's probably somewhere rage tweeting into the void or whatever app he's calling Twitter this week, wondering how Stewart still manages to be more relevant and more feared than half the GOP combined. And just when it seems like maybe Stewart will ease up, maybe take a breath, he leans in harder, like a moral sniper with a compass in one hand and a stack of subpoenas in the other. Target locked, Trump in the crosshairs. There's no build-up, no soft intro, no warm-up act, just Stewart, charging straight for the jugular. Scalpel in hand, peeling back the layers of myth and media fog one surgical strike at a time. He didn't come back to dabble in comedy. He came back to professionally dismantle the... Boy, does Jon Stewart make it look easy, like peeling a banana. But not just any banana, a loud, self-obsessed banana with a mountain of legal fees and a Twitter account that could probably power a small country. First up on the chopping, block. Trump's iron grip on the GOP. Stewart dissects it like a high school biology project, scalpel in one hand, sarcasm in the other. With surgical precision, he walks viewers through how the so-called Party of Lincoln has morphed into the cult of whatever Trump tweeted this morning. And honestly, watching it unfold feels more like a parody than reality itself. It's less political analysis and more like a televised exorcism. Watching Stewart highlight the spineless loyalty of GOP leaders is like stumbling upon a nature documentary where the predators willingly walk into the lion's mouth, smiling while proudly proclaiming how dominant they are. Then, of course, there's the 2024 fever dream. Trump's ambitions are on full display, and Stewart? He's a maestro, wielding irony like a Jedi with a PhD in political science. He lays out Trump's campaign promises with the deadpan seriousness of a hostage negotiator, only to let Trump's own contradictions loop behind him like the greatest hits album no one ever asked for. A cringeworthy mix of lies, reversals, and bizarre proclamations. It's the kind of satire that makes you laugh while checking your passport expiration date, just in case the world really is about to end in 2024, but then the standout moment. The scene that deserves not only an Emmy, not just a Peabody, but maybe a ceremonial flaming sword for sheer brilliance, is when Jon Stewart tackles Trump's law and order shtick. He lines it up next to a laundry list of indictments, civil trials, hush money payments, and enough courtroom drama to make Judge Judy need a nap. It's so perfectly executed, you can practically hear the audience's collective brain cells screaming, "Wait, how is this guy still leading in the polls?" Stewart doesn't need to twist the facts or exaggerate. He doesn't have to fabricate anything. All he does is show Trump being Trump, and then lays it side by side with the narrative that Trump wishes he were living in. The one where he's the hero, the tough guy, the law-abiding champion of justice. Instead, we get the chaotic legal nightmare he's been running from. It's political satire elevated to performance art. It's deadly accurate, razor-sharp, and relentlessly hilarious. Stewart doesn't just point out the contradictions, he weaponizes them. He polishes them, wraps them up with a bow, and sends them back to Trump like a carefully gift-wrapped grenade, one that detonates the moment it lands. Trump's own sound bites, the ones he thinks sound so strong, are turned into self-detonating bombs. The contradictions not just noted, but launched back at him with the force of a trebuchet. The whole thing is like watching a master juggler toss explosive devices into the air, knowing they'll land exactly where they need to for maximum impact. What makes Jon Stewart's delivery hit so hard is that he delivers each punchline with the polish of a seasoned comic, but the cold, surgical precision of a litigator. It's not just funny, it's infuriating, it's cathartic, and somehow it's still educational. Trump, through Stewart's lens, becomes less of a political figure and more of a walking contradiction wrapped in a red tie, a man unraveling live on national television, while Stewart narrates with the weary tone of someone who's been watching this circus for far too long and is finally calling it what it really is: a flaming clown car with subpoenas in the glove. And here's where the real Stewart sorcery kicks in. Comedy as truth. The reason it lands so powerfully, because this isn't just a roast meant to elicit laughs. It's a masterclass in political autopsy, performed with punchlines that draw blood. Stewart doesn't toss out jokes like some late-night monologue host. He launches them like heat-seeking missiles, each one carrying a payload of receipts. Every setup is meticulously backed by a clip, a quote, a stat. It's like a PowerPoint presentation curated by someone who's had enough. He doesn't just poke fun at the contradictions. He stacks them up like evidence in a case that's long been decided, with each punchline as damning as the last. It's the rare combination of laugh-out-loud funny and, oh god, that's actually horrifying. You find yourself laughing while simultaneously checking your moral compass, realizing the absurdity isn't just on the screen, it's real life. Stewart's approach doesn't just mock the chaos of Trump's world, it dissects it, leaving you with the uncomfortable truth about the man who's somehow still leading the charge. It's biting, it's witty, and it's dangerous. Because the real genius of Stewart's comedy is that he doesn't just make you laugh, he forces you to confront the darkness hiding behind the jokes. And while Trump has always tried to sell himself as a man of the people, a gold-plated, jet-setting, golf club-owning everyman, Jon Stewart gleefully bulldozes that illusion like a wrecking ball dipped in irony. In one breath, Trump's posturing as the blue-collar savior of America. In the next, Stewart's dragging out footage of him proudly bragging about exploiting tax loopholes and blowing kisses to billionaires. It's the ultimate bait and switch.